Another regular season of the NFL has come and gone, alongside its fair share of Black Monday drama. And as usual, we're left wondering how some coaches have managed to escape the chopping block despite having a terrible season. While fans of NFL teams might want to see the team owners switch things up when they miss the playoffs, it's not always as straightforward as sacking the head coach. In today's video, we'll take a deep dive into what NFL coaches do to keep their jobs, especially when their seasons take a downturn. Welcome back to the Football Freak Show. Being an NFL coach is a lifelong desire for many who grew up following the game. The thought of managing your favorite team or making history to win the Super Bowl can be powerful. To be honest, the pay isn't bad, even when it's way off what some players earn. However, the NFL coaching business can also be a brutal one. Win games, make the playoffs, get to the Super Bowl, and everything's fine. Your contract gets renewed and you secure bigger paychecks. The problem is only a few coaches reach this level each year. For others who aren't able to lead their teams to high places on the NFL bracket, they have to stress over surviving Black Monday. For the uninitiated, Black Monday is the day after the last day of the NFL season, when multiple teams sack their head coaches. Still, surviving Black Monday is no guarantee you'll be leading the team out the next season. Coaches can be let go at any time once club owners get wind of someone who could do a better job. The other thing is firing a coach, no matter how good or bad, can be quite tricky. As a matter of fact, NFL coach firing ranks among the most complicated in professional sports due to the many factors at play. So why are some coaches able to keep their jobs even when the results don't go their way? The first reason has to do with cash money. In October 2024, the New York Jets fired their head coach Robert Saleh, just 5 games in the 2024 season. The thing about contracts is they don't just end with a firing. When Saleh was hired in January 2021, he signed a 5-year deal, which means he was entitled to compensation until 2026, despite being fired in 2024. At the time, Saleh was the 12th highest paid coach in the NFL, with a $5 million paycheck for the 2024 season alone. Another coach in a similar situation was Frank Reich, who was paid $6 million even after getting the boot. Their compensation may not be much for the Jets and Atlanta Falcons respectively, but there are times when money is the only thing keeping a coach on the job. When dealing with a budget of hundreds of millions of dollars these teams have, $5 to $6 million might not sound like a lot, but every dollar is important in business. Firing a coach is costly because the team needs to pay out their contract while also paying for a replacement coach. If the owners weigh their options and feel like paying a fired coach isn't going to pencil, they might keep the current coach longer than they'd like. But we'll talk about that in a minute. For instance, it could make sense for a team to allow a coach to stay longer if the team is waiting for a replacement coach to be available. There could also be some projects they want them to finish up. The world of contracts can be complicated. If money and contracts are getting in the way, a coach could still keep their job if the team's manager or owner like them, or if there's some internal politics or relationship interference.
Tom Brady takes the snap, drops to the knee, and the Patriots have won.
Bill Belichick is arguably one of the greatest team coaches in NFL history. Alongside quarterback Tom Brady, he led the charge for the greatest NFL domination we've ever seen, with 19 playoff appearances, 31 wins, and 6 Super Bowl wins during his 24-year stay with the New England Patriots. However, things started turning south when Tom Brady joined the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Had our opportunities, and obviously a close game, but just couldn't make enough.
Belichick had his first losing season in 2020, and of course, no one expected a coach with his track record to get fired after just one season without success. However, the trend continued in subsequent years. They lost in the wild card round in 2021 and missed the playoffs in 2022. He was able to keep his role as head coach because he had so much past success to bank on. His outstanding record suggested he could turn things around, or at least deserved a little leeway. It was the 2023 season littered with losses that finally made the owner call a meeting where both parties agreed to part ways. In the NFL, as in other pro sports, coaches are kept on the job for longer if they've shown a track record of success. A coach who's currently banking on their great track record is Brian Daboll.
Take care of the fundamentals, you got me? We'll have more chances. Just keep taking care of the fundamentals.
The New York Giants head coach. He assumed the role in 2022 and immediately produced a surprising playoff run that saw him win the 2022 NFL Head Coach of the Year award. Since then, it's been a downward spiral with a league worst finish of 3-14 in the 2024 season. Right now, Daboll is lucky to still be in charge. No doubt his brief stint of success is what has kept him. If he doesn't get the boot before the next season begins, he'll be on the hot seat in need of a turnaround to keep his job. Sometimes a coach has to deal with factors outside of his control. His team can be bad even when the coach is doing a good job. The stats and team record don't tell the full story sometimes. Losing is never entirely the coach's fault. A lot of factors do come down to them, but a whole lot is also out of their control. The coach recruits players, but sometimes players are unavailable or injured or don't play as expected. The coach determines how the team plays, but strategy is only a part of it. The players still have to perform. There are many factors that are out of the coach's hands but can impact a team's winning results significantly. Some are lucky to work under an owner who understands the situation is out of their control and is willing to keep them on until they can produce some wins. But not all of them. One of the first things NFL club owners consider before sacking a coach is their replacement. They have to consider what other options are available and what they can expect to achieve with the new man before they let the current coach walk. Some teams aren't afraid of launching a search after laying off their coach, but most prefer to lay the groundwork beforehand. It's not unusual for NFL teams to hold on to their head coach who's not delivering the goods if there are no suitable replacements on the market. Some are still of the opinion that the Patriots should not have parted ways with Bill Belichick, as they've not gotten back to their successful ways since the split. Their gamble with young head coach Jared Mayo has not paid off, and he's been let go after just a season in charge, with Mike Vrabel taking up the reins. In truth, there's hardly any time when there aren't coaches on the market, but there are always questions of suitability and how quickly the new man can get things going for the team. On rare occasions, coaches might also stay longer than expected if they're finishing up a project with the team. A lot of discussions take place between club owners and coaches when signing new contracts. One of them is concerning the projects the coach would be in charge of. They could be required to build a team from the ground up to transform the identity of one altogether. Usually, these projects come in phases and take time. Hence, owners may not be willing to stall the project by getting rid of a current coach, even when things aren't going as they should. Unless he can go back in time and grab a 1972 Don Shula or 2007 Bill Belichick, there really isn't much guarantee that comes with a new coach. If the new coach comes in and things don't improve, you'd have lost the project with nothing to show for it. So sometimes owners are happy to keep a head coach when they have a project going on. And lastly, sometimes the coaching decision just boils down to the owners. If there are ownership issues or problems at the top of the hierarchy, the coaches are usually kept around for some stability. Other times, it could just be an owner who's loyal to the coach, or one who, it seems, is not very concerned with things on the field. Enter Dallas's Jerry Jones. NFL coaches are required to be at the very top of their games, but they're still sometimes able to keep their jobs when this is not the case. Most times, there's a combination of factors and a lot of thought that goes into pulling the trigger on firing. Which coach do you think is currently fortunate to still be keeping their job? Tell us in the comments. Like and subscribe for more. We'll see you in the next video.